To tackle fear in life is the greatest way of making life more interesting. My name's Turab. I make videos about emotional intelligence every day, and I'm here to convince you that the things that you're fearful of are actually the greatest opportunities that you're ever going to have in your life. So many times I have battled my fear. I have gone out of my way to tackle things that I am fearful of, losing something that I feel is integral in my life, getting into a cold shower, having a hard conversation, flirting with that girl, whatever it is in life that I have been fearful of, I have gone out of my way and consistently do get out of my way to try to push against. Because I realize in pushing against that thing, I actually become stronger as a human being. And these obstacles, a lot of the time, life gets pretty boring. And for those of us at least that have woken up to the reality that we're capable of forming the world, the circumstances around us, life can get boring. It can get monotonous. You wake up every day, you grind, you get to the results, you grind, you get more results. Fear is a phenomenal way of finding novelty. And at the end of the day, I think we're really just looking for something that's going to wake us up. Something that's going to be like, oh my goodness, this is new, this is exciting, this is exhilarating, sure, a little anxiety inducing, whatever the word we may use, it's new. It's new. And the older we get, the more I believe we crave those new experiences. That's why when I come across someone that's been through a lot of shit in life, my number one objective is to make them laugh. My number one objective is to give them a circumstance to be like, holy shit, this indeed is worth my time, my effort, my energy. And so few of us actually go out of our way to do that for ourselves. And so I have used fear consistently as a way to give that to myself. Because why not love ourselves first? Why not spend the time to show ourselves that we love ourselves? If we can do that, we can probably spend the time and energy to love everyone else. And I think that's it's a great way to go about living life. You build a lot of street cred that way, a lot of soul cred that way, you know, things that are ineffable, things that are intangible. They're achieved through trying to conquer fear, my friend. So I'm also afraid of roller coasters, by the way, and I generally don't like scary movies. So am I going to go out of my way to watch those things? Sure. Now, is it because I'm afraid of them or because I don't like them? Probably a little bit of both. If I am to be honest with myself and you, it's probably a little bit of both. But I've realized that when I've gone to the amusement park in the past, I'll get on the damn ride. I just don't enjoy the emotion, the feeling of that exhilaration. I've sat through many a scary movie. Most of the time, to me, it's just a way of capturing incredibly negative emotions and feeding them to the audience. It's the reason that I didn't go out of my way to watch Black Mirror, even though I found it vaguely interesting. Or what is that show? The cowboy show, Westworld. And there's a lot of different shows that are out there right now that capture that negativity in life, and I don't want to let that into my frame of my perception. And so that's why a lot of the time I kind of avoid situations where I'm in a place full of people screaming. So perhaps that is out of fear, perhaps, but I would like to think there's a slight distinction there, that I am not afraid to go and fall out of the sky if I need to, but I will not go and pursue that thing because it just doesn't make me feel all that great. Is that so different than fear? I'm not sure, but I have done them. I have done those things, and through those experiences, what have I learned? It's something I don't like doing. But never put yourself in a situation that you refuse to do something because you are afraid of it. Does that include heroin? Does that include killing someone? Now that's a question. That's a philosophical question. And one that I'll try to answer in front of you. Should you try to kill someone? Probably not. If your philosophy has given you any sort of value of your own life, then taking away someone else's, it shouldn't be out of fear that you don't take someone else's life away. It should be out of raw logic that taking someone's life away, including yourself, is not worth your time. It's not worth the energy that a life on the planet could sustain its own. In terms of doing drugs, in terms of doing heroin and all of this, I will tell you that nicotine is said to be more addictive than heroin. So if that is indeed the case, and I don't necessarily believe that, but I know nicotine is incredibly addictive, if you can break out of smoking nicotine, you can probably break out of doing the heroin. So is it worth it? Probably not. If you're afraid of not having the control to break through that, now that may be a worthy test if you're bored in life. But that is not my recommendation. There are plenty of other things that are much more approachable and probably much better as an end result than trying to get into doing all the different drugs. Now, if you've gotten to a place in life where you've accomplished everything else, perhaps that is the way to go. But, my friend, there are many, many heights and many, many depths that are yet to be approached. So, how do I go through and wrestle with things that are frightening to me? First and foremost, I remember a piece of advice from a mentor of mine that it's very good to get into a position in life where you have to at least paddle. That means get into water that's a little deeper than you can stand on, in order to build your muscles, but also to get comfortable with actually being uncomfortable. Many of the wealthy, successful people in our society have talked about a very similar concept, in that most people despise failing so much, fear failing so much, that we don't take the chances to actually become strong enough to beat those failures and create successes out of them. Now, what does it really require? It requires an ultimate faith in self, to be able to go and pursue something that we have a very small chance of actually achieving. It requires a certain amount of belief. It requires hope. It requires perhaps an accountability, a system in which we can think to ourselves, hey, why not? What would happen if I accomplished that? How would I feel if that happened? Take the chance. I say take the chance. And this is advice that I give to you because it's advice that I give to myself. A lot of these videos are me just talking to a camera. So I hope you realize that it comes with, really, it's a journal. It's a journal for self. And to take these chances is very, very important in life, because they may pass us by. However, I also would argue there is a good time to do these things. That if you're going to take a risk, perhaps don't take a risk at the expense of someone else. If you're going to take a risk, perhaps try to avoid taking the risk in a circumstance where you need to be sturdy. There was a quote in Counsels of Hazrat Ali, Living and Dying with Grace, where he said, in times of unrest, be like a suckling calf, with no udder to be milked and no back to be ridden. In times of unrest, yeah. Don't go and take crazy risks when you know you need the stable income to actually make sure to feed yourself and your family. Take risks, but measured risks. Take risks enough to know that you will be 90% successful, regardless of what you decide to pursue. And that comes from a belief in self. That comes from following through consistently. That comes from learning the information. Now, I make this video in the pursuit of a fairly large property, a real estate property, and it's something that's way out of my wheelhouse, right? Like, I don't know shit about managing properties. I don't know shit about getting tenants. I don't know shit about all of the electricity, all of the taxes, all of the crazy shit that's going to be required for me to actually run this property efficiently. However, I'm not fearful that I would fail, because I'm in a circumstance where I'm making a fairly good income and I have a good backing, a good partner. So I have almost a responsibility to go out and fail, where so many others don't have that opportunity. And I think a lot of us have that in life too, but we just don't have that sense of responsibility to go ahead and approach it that way. So I'm giving it to you. Take the responsibility, Catalyst, and actualize your potential. I hope this video finds you well. The world needs you. See you on the other one. Take care now.